Amy. Hier, Amy. So, essentially, see, now I'm ruining the video by talking too much. But essentially the way you can see it is, this is now poop from the dog, and somebody has to collect it. So if I don't do it myself, the government will try to force you through putting up a tax on it, or he puts up a tax and then says, you know, we're gonna clean it. Only they're collecting tax, but they're not cleaning it properly. So if they collect tax, they also have to make sure that there's no dog poop anywhere. Which means that if they collect tax, Amy hier, Amy hier, hierhin. Hierhin jetzt. Platz, bleib. See? So either they have to enforce it on people, and say, you know, you're doing it, and if you won't do it, we're gonna do it with the whip. Right? And they say, we collect tax so that we clean your dog poop. Hierhin jetzt. Hierhin. Amy. Hierhin. You see, this is not a space where you can just run around, because this is like controlled by taxpayers. Hier. Platz. Platz. Bleib. So see, there are different rules in the city than in the forest. Because maybe in the city you can like do all sorts of things, like go shopping, meet other people, I don't know. In the forest you can basically do what you want. You can shout, you can be completely crazy, but you cannot do that if you come to places like cemeteries or somewhere in a public park, or maybe even, I don't know, in Amsterdam Central. So if you go to these places and you smoke or you take any kind of substances, you have to be fully responsible of all your actions. Because if not, you may end up killing somebody or yourself. And that's why governments are quite resistant to allowing psychedelics, because people are complete idiots, and when they just use it freely, you know, some people couldn't be trusted. That's just how it is. You know, they would kill themselves. So you have to save people from themselves. But you know, they cannot really forbid the usage of psychedelics, but they can certainly make it a bit harder. But as you can see here in Germany, where it is basically forbidden, I can still sit here and smoke if I do so quietly. Of course, if I mingle around with like gangster people and smoke in dark corners, I mean, it's not going to look a bit shady. But when I'm gonna sit here like this, super chilled, smoking a joint and relaxing, nobody's ever going to say anything. But for that, you probably have to change your attitude towards these substances, and instead of combining them with like shit like alcohol and tobacco, you should just start smoking it pure or with herbs. And I recommend something like thyme, something like white sage, or whatever you have. You just figure it out. You know, some people like oregano, some people like all kinds of other things. So it's for you to decide what you like, and then you just do it, right? And you know, it's like a peaceful resistance. And even in Germany, just people have to start getting used to seeing it, and then it'll be easier for them to accept it. So that's something you can say to German people, you know, just be relaxed about it, man. Just sit down, smoke a joint, and enjoy. And whatever comes your way, you're going to deal with it peacefully, quietly. And then people start growing their own cannabis at home, picking spots in the forest. Then you can produce like really nice, good quality weed that then can be still government regulated. Hey. Du musst schon ein bisschen aufpassen, Kollege. Yeah? You see? You have to be careful, because the government may take control over it by force. So don't be an idiot with these things, right? Don't rub it under their noses. Like, try to be a bit smart about it, right? But don't let them stop you, is what I'm saying, right? Because they can just make recommendations these days. That's just how it is. That's the rules. And if you would have paid attention, you would have realized that that's the rules of this world. They can only try to stop you, but only if you let them will it be so. That's the basic principle of free choice, and the foremost reason why you came here to learn something in the first place. Yeah, I have free choice, and in a way that dog has choice as well. But now I can let that dog decide what I'm going to choose by rushing me into walking away from here, this place which I quite like, the dog hates it at the moment because the dog is young, wants to move, jump around. But I'm here to do business, so the dog needs to be on the leash in this sense, because otherwise, you know, he's causing trouble for me. So I have to teach the dog, you also have to wait a bit. And that's maybe what they've been trying to teach you in this kind of system, you know, just chill and wait a bit. You know, just relax. You know, because what you have failed to manage is to learn from the mistakes of other people. Instead of copying them, you use them to adjust yourself. Oh wait, they are doing this, it makes me angry that I see them do this, so why am I doing it? Right? That's like roughly how it is. And so if you have like, I mean, philosophical conversations like this, that absolutely makes sense in some way. With cannabis. It's like, I mean, why do I need you then? Right? I mean, if I can have it, the camera is just a way to imagine another person that I can talk to and that doesn't interrupt me. And that's why I love podcasting. And that's why I love making music. And that's why I love filming myself, because I can say what I want without being interrupted. And that's why if that dog wants to pressure me into going, I'm gonna fucking restrict it with a leash, because I'm here and I'm saying where this journey is going, and anybody who wants to join in gives his responsibility basically to somebody else. So, you know, I don't really know what that means. I'm just saying, you know, whatever the movement is about, you know, it's moving. Whether you join in or not, it's moving already anyway. It's been moving forever, like always. We just have to realize that again. And so instead of clinging to the past or rushing into the future, we just stay in the moment, and then we accept the way things are right now, and then we feel how we would like things to be in the future by looking at the things in the world that we like and that we would like to have, and then we think about why would we like to have them, and could we also use something else that is already right in front of us. So maybe right now I want to have all kinds of things, but I have certain things available, which is now for me this camera, I have the weed, and I have the dog. In a way it's not my dog, but at the moment it is, right? I didn't buy it with money, but you could say I paid with love, something like this, you know. And now I have a dog for a while, and now I can open up to her, but I also know at one point I'll have to let her go, so I don't cling. And that's of course something hard, to get really invested into an animal, although you know you won't always see her. It's quite hard, you know, if you can love in such a way that you give everything while you are together, and it's still okay, right? Because then when you don't see each other again, you know you've given it your all, right? You've given it your all. And that's why working towards goals is to me something that is quite important, and that keeps me motivated past anything that I have ever experienced. And I can tell you that these substances have not hindered me, but actually enabled me to outgrow myself in such a way. Because for some reason they make the world just a little bit brighter and a little bit bigger than this narrow-minded kind of coffee fear anxiety, which is like, you know, you're always just looking at one spot. It's like, you know, you're just looking at one spot and that scares you, and you think that's how the world is. When you start looking around, you see there's like dark spots, and then there's like a bit brighter spots, and then there's like really bright spots, and it's like, you know, like orgasmic spots, like, you know, and then you just decide which ones you focus on. So instead of focusing into the darkness, like the dark past or something, you just start focusing on lightful things, like at the end of the road. For me, it's like being with my wife. It's like, wow, like that's awesome. You know, if I can live up to that, I mean, holy shit, right? That's kind of how it is. this kind of feeling of like, wow, I can see it. Like there's a lot of trees in front of it, but somewhere in the distance. And that's basically a skill I got also from slacklining. Because you keep your balance, but you always focus at the end of the line. And that's why I've been really persistent with slacklining. And it taught me so much in life to always get up again, get back on the slackline. You know, that's the mentality how you have to train your body. And somehow I used to have that, or I have it. I still have it. But sometimes you have to like, you know, it was good I didn't train for a while now, because I needed to learn to also be stable just by myself without doing exercise. So I've trained my will in a way by, for a while, allowing my body to be weak. And I've proven that I can continue anyway. So now I know, you know, nothing will stop me ever, you know. But I can certainly make it a bit nicer for myself if I do implement a certain physical routine into my life. And that means I have to practice properly and continuously, and I can have lows where I don't do anything for a couple of weeks, but my goal always have to be to get back on the horse, right? And no matter what anybody tells you, right, you just try keeping your shit to yourself, and you just carry it into the forest, into nature, or into your creative work. Like, I don't really care what you do with this, but as long as you do something, like learn to play the guitar, I don't know, instead of buying cigarettes, if you want to keep smoking, please teach yourself how to roll them, man. You have to get your hands involved, and that's when the really, like, the beauty comes around. That's one of the reasons, really, I smoke. I love rolling. But if I roll, I have to smoke. When I'm smoking, I'm rolling, and you get what I mean? It's like, whoa, you know? I have to do something to do something, and then I do something, right? So it just keeps going, because I sleep, so, right, not to escape. I sleep now because I'm tired, and I feel like I need to rest so that I can work later. I'm already one step further to the goal. And my feeling then tells me that's what you want to do now. So today I had to like polish it a bit into shape, like feeling it out. How does it feel? Like, okay, forest, no forest, okay. I don't know, I'm confused. A part of me wants to go to the forest because I know that, and the city is gonna be stressful. So I feel into it, and I feel like, whoa, okay. I will go with the dog to the park, because forest just seems like the same thing, like every day. And then I go and do a bit of training, a bit of calisthenics, you know, and just feel my way into it. And so, you know, I don't think of the end of the experience, because, you know, I don't know how it's going to be until I get there. So I get there and I start going, and, you know, the beginning might be really shit, but I've realized that even the worst weather can lighten your heart. Like, if you fight yourself through it, your heart opens to the experience, because you did not give up. You could have returned, but you continued. So it's a good practice sometimes to go for a hike in the rain without bringing an umbrella, and just seeing how uncomfortable that can be. To be really soaked, and you go for the hike anyway, and you pick like 2 hours or something, you know, dress warmly, but you just don't pick anything that keeps out the rain, and then you will see how uncomfortable life can really be. And that's then a good point of reference for your bickering you've been like continuously doing for a while now. So then you can say, holy shit, this is how life can be. I think I can be quite grateful that it's not always as hard. And then you keep doing these things to up your level, and you keep living with other people sometimes maybe. And then you make experiences and you realize, holy shit, other countries have different problems and they still manage to smile. So why can't we smile here in countries like Germany? Why do we have to run around with such a face and pretend like life is a fucking hell? Because I don't see it. I don't see it. What I see is like pure beauty, and, you know, that's all I can say to that topic, you know, and for the rest you just have to make your own experiences.